Hello writers, and we are back with Minilecture 1.2. There's my dog Blanche behind me making a mess of the bed, as she likes to do. You'll see her popping around through the semester. I adopted her just at the end of last semester, and she's pretty cute. Okay, so in this mini lecture, I want to talk a little bit about some of the things, some course policies that it's important that you understand. This video will be for both 1101 and 1102 because those policies are the same. Usually you will have separate videos for your separate courses. But these are things I want to make sure you understand. Before I do that, though, I definitely want to make sure that you understand as well that once something is posted in Folio, that you're responsible for it. So I'm not going to cover word by word everything that is posted for course policies here. I'm going to give you a quick overview, but you're still responsible for knowing all of it. You can find that information by going into the course. At the top on the left-hand side, you'll see a button that says Content, and then on the left-hand side, you'll see all sorts of stuff in there. You'll see the syllabus, course information and policies, stuff about me, office hours, each weekly module, all of that kind of stuff. You got to know it all, right? So make sure that you are popping in there and reading each piece of it. A couple of points I want you to start out with. If you have not yet completed your attendance verification quiz, it's a one-question quiz. You must do it. You have to do it this week 1. If you don't, you will be disenrolled from the course, and there's nothing I can do about that, okay? That doesn't happen from me. That happens from the registrar's office. It's a requirement of financial aid to verify if you're getting financial aid that you're actually coming to class, right? So please do that first thing. You will again see that in the content, the attendance verification quiz. It is a one-question quiz that just says, hey, I'm coming to class. Please take that today, right now. In fact, pause this video, go and do it, and then come back and watch the rest of it. Okay, so this lecture might sound a little strict, a little stern. I promise you I'm a pretty easygoing guy. I'm here to help you. I want to help you. What this is kind of setting the standard. It's letting you know what the expectations are so there's no question down the road. That said, anytime you run into a problem, I want you to talk to me. I'm here to help, okay? So you are in an online course, an online asynchronous course. And what that means is that it's not that you just wait until the end and do everything. It's that each week you're going to have an assignment or several assignments, reading, watching mini lectures, writing. It means that we don't come together in class to do that. So each of those will have a certain due date on it. You'll be expected to have completed those by the due date. I want you to know that online classes are really challenging. They are harder than in-person classes because you have to do all of your own motivation. You have to stay on top of it yourself, and you're not coming to a class where you're sort of accountable to somebody face-to-face in person. For a lot of people, that is really challenging. There is a higher failure rate for online classes, and it is because of that. I want you to know at the start, no student of mine, not one, has ever failed one of my courses because of the quality of their writing. The reason students fail my courses is that they don't come to class, they don't do their work, or they cheat, okay? Lots of students have failed for those reasons. If you come to class, you do the work, and it's your own work and you don't cheat, you're going to get the credit for the course, okay? I can almost guarantee you that. So, come to class, do the work, don't cheat, get the credit, okay? So let's talk a little bit about what that looks like. Because this is an online asynchronous course, meaning we don't synchronize, we don't meet together, attendance works a little differently. You have to access the course, you have to do all the work, and then most weeks in the course you will have a quiz. That quiz will function as your attendance, right? As well as doing your homework and that kind of stuff, but it's an attendance marker. If you are not coming to class, if you're not doing the quiz, if you're not demonstrating that understanding, you're going to start seeing a reduction in your grade that goes beyond what failing that quiz might look like, right? So absences will reduce your final grade by 1 letter grade. Multiple absences will reduce it further, including potentially failing the course. You have to come to class, okay? Attendance is still required, even though we're not meeting at the same time. You got to do the work to get the credit. Fair? So it's important that you're every week, multiple times a week, accessing the course and doing the work. You can't just do it at the end, pop in and do it. You will not be successful in doing that. There are just as many hours of work expected of this course as there are for the in-person courses. Those are 3 hours of in-class time a week plus several hours of out-of-class time every week. So you should expect to spend about 10 hours on this class every week. Maybe even a little bit more than that when there are papers due, stuff like that. Which means you got to be doing the work. You can't just wait until the end. Okay? So let's talk about your grading schemes. First of all, this works as a standard grading scheme. Each letter grade is 10 points. So 90 to 100 is an A, 80 to 89 is a B, 70 to 79 is a C, 60 to 69 is a D, below a 60 is an F. Okay? The way your grade is going to break down is that 40% of your grade, the biggest chunk of it, is for what we call low stakes assignments. That's doing the homework, doing the reading, typing into comments and stuff like that on Perusall when those are assigned, writing your drafts, doing that kind of stuff, okay? If you do those, you're going to get almost all of the credit for the course. Those aren't graded. You're going to get credit largely for doing them. There will be some distribution of points in there based on how well you do that. So, for example, if you log into Perusall and say, as your comment is, I like this, that's not much of a comment, right? You've got to be a little more expansive than that. I like this because it made me think that, or I disagree with what you said because, here's what I think because, okay? So your comments have to be high quality. But that said, if you do them, you're going to get the credit for them, and you're going to get most of the credit for the course. The rest of the course breakdown is like this. You're going to have your first graded essay, which will be worth 15% of your course grade. You'll have another graded essay, which is 15% of your course grade. You'll have your big graded essay, the common assignment for each of your courses, which is 25% of your course grade, and then 5% for a final reflection. The good news is for all of those graded assignments, you're going to get a chance to do an ungraded draft first, get feedback, peer review, all of that kind of stuff, and then revise it before you submit it for a grade. If you do the revision work well, you're going to get good grades on those. Okay? So do the work. Put in the time. Really what this course is about is helping you be successful in all of your other courses and everything else that you do and communicating down the road. That's why every first-year student has to take this course, okay? So make sure that you do that work, take that time, etc. Okay, so that's how the grading works. Late assignments. For anything that is in the low-stakes bucket, if you do not do it on time, you do not get credit for it, okay? So that stuff has to be on time because we will be using it in class. There are some additional caveats to that. So, for example, a draft of a major essay or peer review, if you don't do those on time, or if you don't do them at all, you will see a deduction on your grade for the revised graded part, because that puts other people's grades at risk as well. You're not doing your part of the community here, so you've got to do those on time. But broadly speaking, you won't get credit for what you don't do in that bucket. Remember, that's 40% of your grade, so do that work. For graded essays, each day that it is late, if you haven't spoken to me before it was due to get an extension, you'll lose one letter grade, 10 points from that. Now, that sounds like a lot, but it's actually, it gives you a pretty long tail to get some credit there. In fact, you could still get some points even if you're 10 days late on something. It's much, much easier to recover, say, from a 50 on a grade than it is from a 0. So if you haven't done something when it's due, don't just give up, okay? Do it, turn it in, get some credit for it, because you'll be able to pick up from that. I do that really intentionally to give you a long tail here. That said, please do try and get it on time. If a situation arises where you're going to need some extra time, the earlier you communicate with me, the better. I want you to be successful. I want to help you. It's easier for me to do that the farther out I am, I know about it. Okay, so communicate with me. The best way to communicate with me is via my Georgia Southern email, not through Folio, via my Georgia Southern email, bjackson@georgiasouthern.edu. That's the best way to reach me. You can also come to my office hours, which are posted in the content section of your course. I will be on Zoom during those hours every week of the course. If I need to make some adjustment to that, I will let the classes know. I will post an announcement to your course about it. Okay, so we've covered the grading policy, we've covered the attendance policy, we've covered the late work policy. There are more details in there, so do be sure you read the syllabus. A couple of things about the class itself, and some things that matter to me. First of all, if you're reaching out to me via email, remember that I don't know you yet, right? Please include your name and send it from your Georgia Southern email address, and tell me what section you are in, what course and what section. So I'm in English 110110F. That way I can find you easily. I am actually teaching 6 sections of different English classes this semester. I have about 160 students. So it will take me a little bit of time to track you down if you don't tell me who you are. So please include in your email, which you send from your Georgia Southern account, your name, your course and your section, and then let me know what it is that you're asking about. It'll help me help you. Okay. I want to tell you a little bit about perusal, which you've already learned about in the first mini lecture. But I want to make sure you know, since a lot of your grades are going to come from your homework, I want you to understand sort of what I see there. Okay. So I can see when you open something, how many times you open something, how much time you spend on it, what percentage of it you view, do you speed it up or not? Sorry, Charlie, you got to watch it at regular speed to try and get that information in. How much time you spend actively engaging in it, meaning do you pop in a video and then go look at another tab? That's not really paying attention to it, right? You've got to focus on the class. This class is this time. And to get credit for it, you've got to watch all of the lectures, do all of the reading, and actively do it. Don't just pretend to do it. The computer is going to tell me, and that is going to impact your grades if you're not doing it. You do need a C or better in this course to get credit for it, okay? Doing that work will help you get there. So please do that work. What else can I tell you? AI usage policy. I want you to know that if you are using AI, you are wasting my time. And you're wasting your time. And I don't have a lot of time. Like I said, I just have 160 students. I will not take super kindly to that. I am very, very serious about this. Like I said, no student has ever failed my course because of the quality of their writing. So you have no excuse now not to use your own writing. Okay? Using AI is laziness, and it is cheating. It is a violation both of this course's policies and of the Code of Student Conduct. I will refer AI usage to the Student Board of Conduct every time. This course does not allow for AI use, except in very specific ways, which I will tell you when and how you're able to use it. If you do not hear me say, here's how we're going to use AI on this assignment, we are not using AI on this assignment, okay? If you do, I will report you to the Student Conduct Board every time, because you are wasting my time, and worse than that is that you're wasting your time, and worse than that is that when you use AI or you cheat to get through the course, you are devaluing the Georgia Southern degree program. And so if you go out into the workforce and somebody hires you and they say, this person graduated from Georgia Southern and they have no idea what they're doing, which will be the case if you use AI to get through college. And you won't get through college, you will be caught. But if you tried to do that and somehow you snuck through and you went out in the workforce and got hired, that employer is going to be like, this person has no idea what they're talking about and they have a degree from Georgia Southern. And they're then not going to hire other people from Georgia Southern. So you're hurting the whole community when you do that. I take that really seriously. And therefore, I will turn you in every time. I want you to hear that. Okay? And the consequences for that can be as severe as expulsion. Don't do it. Because you don't have to do it. As long as you do the work, and okay, you might not like doing the work, but as long as you do the work, you're going to get the credit for the course. Okay? This is not a hard course. I'm not a hard grader. I want you to be successful. I want to help you out. So do not do it. And I will know. Okay? No one's gotten through. You don't get through. And I've seen what AI generates for all of these essays. I know what they look like. Don't do it. Please don't do it. Don't put either of us in that position, okay? Because it gets beyond my ability to help you then. If you're struggling, talk to me, and I will help you. Deal? Okay. That also goes for plagiarism. The plagiarism policy and the AI use policy are in the syllabus. Read them, understand them, okay? Each week you will have on your left-hand side in your content a module that has the work for the week in there. Each of those will have a due date assigned to them. The work is due by that due date, okay? But it's your responsibility to go in there and see everything every week, do all the interaction, that kind of stuff. I do reserve the right to make changes to assignments, that kind of stuff, mainly to respond to things that you need or that have come up in the world or that there's some sort of weather emergency or whatever. I will never move a due date earlier. Okay, once I have posted in Folio, unless I substantially screwed up, like I accidentally put December 31st instead of August 31st, right? If it's something that's obvious like that, I will fix it. But beyond that, beyond something weird like that, I'll never move a due date closer and surprise you with it. Rather, I will move it back, or I might change an element of the assignment or something along those lines. When I do that, I'll tell you. I'm never going to surprise you with anything. I'm not trying to be sneaky or anything along those lines. It's more about responding to the course needs. So you have to be paying attention to what's happening in Folio all of the time. I also just want to make a note that as far as that, you do have to have both the perusal version of your textbook and the critic subscription. Many of you are dual enrollment students, and I understand that it's supposed to be entirely free. I do not know how the financial aspect of that works. You'll have to work with your dual enrollment coordinator, with the financial aid coordinator, or with the bookstore to set that up. I believe that if you just go through the day one access, you can use whatever's in your financial aid account, which I think is how that works for dual enrollment to purchase that. But I don't know. Regardless of that, you still have to have these two things. They are course requirements, so you're going to have to figure that out. And let me know on that. If you need a little bit of time on the critic, I've put a due date in there on that for you that extends it to, I think, the end of the next week, the 23rd or 24th of August, something like that. We're not going to use it immediately, but we'll be using it regularly. As far as the textbooks, you should be getting those pretty quickly. Okay. What else can I tell you? Communicate with me. I'm here to help. Make sure as you email, like I said, you're being professional about it. That you are interacting professionally and cordially with members of your community. The community being your class, your classroom. You are going to have to interact with people regularly. And I want you to think about how we do that. I will always treat you with respect in this class. Even if we disagree about something, even if you've turned in work that I know to be dishonest, I will still treat you with respect. And I expect you to do that with me and with other people in the class. We are doing something together, and writing does not happen in a vacuum. We are going to be working together to produce the best writing that we can. And in order to do that, we need to trust each other. We need to take care of each other. We need to be kind to each other, which does not mean we're not honest, but it means that we are, in fact, sometimes it requires us to be very honest, but we do so in a way that is respectful and clear and kind. Fair? Not doing that is going to cause a problem with me for you in the class. So, but that's not a conversation I don't think we'll ever have to have. I'm sure you will be just fine in that. And I think that's enough of the tough stuff. You are still responsible for the rest of the stuff in the syllabus. So please, and in the course information, folio, that kind of stuff, please do it. Take that attendance verification quiz. Start getting ready and doing your homework. You all have stuff due this week. And it's important that you are hopping on there and getting that done and starting the semester off right. I am here to help, and I am really looking forward to getting to know each of you this semester. Take care.